From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, December 15th. A lot of the active weather we saw yesterday will be long gone today. That's the good news. We will have some patchy fog that's moving on out in the mid-morning hours. Going to be a cooler day overall. High temps are going to be later this morning, hovering through the low 40s throughout most of the day. Can't rule out a light rain shower according to our Storm Track 8 team. Even some possible snow flurries late today north of I-70. Indiana Republican Senator Mike Braun says he is not happy about how Congress is deciding to fund the federal government. A short-term spending bill is heading to the Senate to give lawmakers time to craft a longer deal. If the Senate approves the measure and President Biden signs it, it'll give lawmakers one more week to reach a compromise on a long-term spending plan. But Senator Braun and other Republicans argue the next Congress should be the ones to figure that out when it convenes in January. Last night's House voted, it passed 224 to 201. 9 Republicans joined Democrats to vote in favor. None of them was from Indiana. Senate negotiators say they have at least agreed to a framework that puts them on track to complete a full-year funding package. Both sides agree on spending about $858 billion on defense, and there are about $25 billion apart on the overall funding bill. Braun claims no one knows what's in the bill.
No one does. I'm an appropriator, and I've been an appropriator, I guess, for a year or two, but we never know what's in it. It's cooked up behind closed doors by folks that really don't want to say what's in it, because when you get in there and dig around, it's got a lot of stuff no one would want in there. There's no budgeting. I'm on the budget committee. It's a useless appendage here. Ought to be the most important committee. And there's no appropriating done with participation.
Republican House Leader Kevin McCarthy called for an extension into 2023. He says Republicans earned the opportunity to shape spending legislation by taking back the House in the midterm elections. But some Senate Republicans worry delaying negotiations into January could lead to a shutdown, with the GOP taking the blame. The Senate could vote as soon as today on the short-term measure. The Senate passed the No TikTok on Government Devices Act unanimously last night. It comes over fears of the Chinese government possibly misusing customers' data. The bill still would need House approval and President Biden's signature to become law. Several states have already banned the platform from government phones. Indiana is not one of them, but Indiana did become the first state to sue the platform after it filed 2 lawsuits last week. The Chinese company that owns the platform, ByteDance, has not responded to the legislation. ITMate has reviewed documents that show the CEO of collapsed crypto company FTX donated thousands to the Indiana Democratic Party. As we've reported at Wish TV, Sam Bankman-Fried is now charged with several crimes surrounding the collapse. The documents from the Federal Election Commission found Bankman-Fried donated more than $9,000 to the Indiana Democratic Congressional Victory Committee in August. The documents show Bankman-Fried also made donations of the same amount to 10 other state-level Democratic groups. A spokesperson for the Indiana Democratic Party says the party plans to donate that money to charity. Beech Grove Mayor Dennis Buckley says he will not seek another term. Buckley announced a decision yesterday and says in a statement, "It has been the honor of a lifetime to serve the people of Beech Grove." Buckley was elected in 2011 and is now the longest-serving mayor in Marion County. He says he'll retire from public service when his term ends January 1st of 2024. Nearly 40,000 turkeys have died this week after 2 more outbreaks of avian flu in Indiana. The State Board of Animal Health says more than 11,000 birds tested positive at a Davies County farm, and it then spread to a flock in Martin County. Officials then euthanized more than 27,000 turkeys there as a precaution. The virus is believed to be spread by waste from migratory birds, but experts say there's growing evidence it may be airborne.
These barns are typically very well ventilated to keep the birds, fresh air and keep them cool and a proper temperature. And so they have ventilation fans running on those. We have seen cases where the first birds in the barn that get sick are the ones located closest to the ventilation fans.
State officials say avian flu has affected 14 farms in Indiana since February. They say nearly 240,000 turkeys have died as a result. A newly released report shows the pandemic has made the country's longstanding teacher shortage worse. The Economic Policy Institute finds the problem is especially severe in schools with larger populations of students of color or students from low-income families. The study contends the shortage is not because of a lack of qualified teachers and instead finds not enough candidates are willing to work at current pay rates. The president of the ISTA, Indiana's largest teachers union, says statewide pay increases last year have helped, but are not yet enough. The Economic Policy Institute report says high stress levels are adding to the teacher shortage as well. A major telecommunications company is launching a new effort to bridge digital divides. Comcast is providing laptops to 20 people through local organizations to give them online access. Recent studies find Black and Hispanic households are far more likely to lack access to devices and the internet. Many of the laptops will go to the Latino Coalition, an agency for domestic violence survivors. Comcast also has an affordable connectivity program and urges people to apply. The January 6th House Select Committee's chairman says the committee will hold its final public meeting on Monday. Congressman Benny Thompson says the panel's full report will come out December 21st. He says the committee will approve the panel's final report on December 19th and make announcements about criminal referrals to the Justice Department. According to Thompson, Monday's public meeting will include a presentation and cover the names of people facing criminal and other referrals, as well as the basis for those referrals. Those other referrals could include bar discipline, campaign finance, and ethics referrals to the House Ethics Committee. A CNN poll shows Americans do not want to see another Biden-Trump matchup in 2024. The results were made public yesterday. It found a majority of Democrats and Republicans say they want new nominees for the 2024 presidential election. Only 38% of Republican voters hope Trump would be their nominee. That number rose slightly to 40% for Democratic voters and President Biden. However, most voters do say from both parties that they would ultimately vote for them if they became their party's nominees. And the Biden administration is facing growing calls to take action ahead of Title 42 expiring next week. The Trump administration rule that allows officials to turn away migrants at the U.S. southern border expires December 21st. Local organizations say they're just not prepared to handle the massive increase of migrants in a matter of days. We're talking thousands more per day. Officials from border areas say they want Biden to visit. As officials prepare for the surge of migrants, the Department of Homeland Security has deployed additional agents to El Paso, Texas. The trial will move forward for the man accused of attacking Paul Pelosi, husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. A judge ruled yesterday that prosecutors have enough evidence against David DePape for the case to continue. Police say DePape used a hammer to knock Paul Pelosi unconscious in October. An investigator in the hearing in San Francisco testified that DePape told her there was evil in Washington. She said DePape also told her of the other people he wanted to target, including Tom Hanks, Hunter Biden, and California's Governor Gavin Newsom. DePape is now due back in court December 28th. A former Boy Scout leader is set to spend up to 20 years in prison for sex abuse. Mark Chapman was a scout master in a suburb of Detroit, Michigan. He's convicted of abusing 2 boys, one of them a relative. A judge handed down the punishment for both cases to be served at the same time, a range of 12 to 20 years. Charges stem from a statewide review of lawsuits against the Boy Scouts. Prosecutors say that they'll likely bring criminal cases against other leaders in the future. A community health patient says she's looking for a woman she considers to be her guardian angel. According to the hospital, Barbara, who felt more comfortable just giving her first name, recently went to the Heart and Vascular Hospital for an appointment and collapsed from a heart attack moments after walking through the door. She says another woman jumped to her rescue. According to Barbara, the woman said that she was a retired nurse and immediately started CPR until hospital staff could get there. Barbara says she's thankful for the employees that helped save her life, but she also wants to thank that unknown woman. If you know who Barbara's guardian angel is, go to wishtv.com right now and look for this story in the As Seen on Wish TV section. Click on it, and inside you'll find out how to submit the information and how to get a hold of the people to get them in touch with each other. And this morning, a local man is offering some thanks for all who are helping him during a hard time. James Tooley has been living outdoors in Castleton. About a month ago, the MOTW coffee shop opened a location on 82nd Street in the same parking lot where Tooley was camped. Employees talked with him and took to Instagram to help raise money to get him back on his feet. The original goal was $5,000, and donations have nearly tripled that.
We noticed he was living there and he wasn't bothering us. And when we actually went and discussed what he was doing there and talked to him, he was a genuinely nice guy, very charismatic. If everyone was just a little bit nicer to each other, you can give that little bit of positivity and it could really brighten someone's day.
The coffee shop says it used the donations to buy clothes, boots, and an electric bike for Tooley to get around town. Tooley says he now has an interview set up for a job with a former employer. Now to some business headlines. Consumer credit reporting agency TransUnion says delinquency rates for credit cards and personal loans will jump next year to highs not seen in more than a decade. It blames surging interest rates and persistently high inflation. TransUnion says people got used to the extra money during COVID and are now having trouble reining in spending. Twitter Safety announced an update to its private information policy just hours after the social media outlet suspended multiple accounts that track private jets. The company says it'll remove any tweets or accounts that share someone's live location going forward, pointing to increased risk of physical harm when such information is shared. Anyone looking to book a trip for early next year may be disappointed in the discounts. Demand is still high and costs for travel companies have climbed. Average prices for plane tickets, hotels, and short-term rentals will remain higher than they were last winter and before the pandemic. That's according to travel experts. However, off-peak season deals are available. Taco Bell is looking at adding fries to its permanent lunch menu. Taco Bell has put nacho fries, its take on French fries, on the menu periodically as a limited time offering since the item launched in 2018. But the head of Taco Bell says it wants to compete more with McDonald's, and fries is a way to do that. All right, to some sports. The World Cup final is set. Fans of both teams are ready. France won its way in yesterday with a 2-0 win over Morocco. Argentina sealed its spot the day before by beating Croatia 3-0. The final game is Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. UCLA is now one step closer toward joining the Big Ten Conference in 2024. The Big Ten commissioner announced yesterday that the university had received approval for the move from the University of California Board of Regents. They voted 11-5 to affirm the Bruins' move during a special meeting held on the university's Westwood campus. Today marks the deadline for Ticketmaster to speak with members of Congress over the Taylor Swift ticket chaos. The House Energy and Commerce Committee last week sent a letter to Ticketmaster's CEO, Michael Rapino, as last week calling for a briefing. Millions of fans experienced delays and lockouts as the site was overwhelmed with demand during the pre-sale for Swift's new tour. There's no word yet if Ticketmaster has responded or tried to set up a date. Newly filed court documents show reality TV stars Todd and Julie Chrisley will be heading to Florida to serve their time next year. The couple best known for their show, Chrisley Knows Best, was found guilty on several charges in June. The charges include conspiracy to defraud banks and several other tax crimes. Todd Chrisley was sentenced to 12 years in prison, Julie Chrisley 7. Court documents show that the two were ordered to report to 2 different federal prisons on January 17th. To the Colts, a Seymour High School student has a big reason to celebrate this morning. Senior Corey Robinson is the Colts High School Man of the Year. The award recognizes an outstanding Indiana high school football player who exemplifies character, leadership, and teamwork on and off the field. The Colts Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee Shaquille Leonard is who delivered the news during a video call yesterday. Take a listen.
Be the first one to tell you that you are the Man of the Year.
No way.
My God.
No way.
Oh, congratulations, man. It's a true honor, man. Don't let this stop you. Let's continue to get bigger and better and continue to be, a giver in the community.
I appreciate that so much. You have no clue.
As part of the honor, Robinson will be honored at the January 8th game against the Texans. He'll receive a plaque, and $2,500 will be donated from the Colts Foundation to a nonprofit of Robinson's choice. Ryan Walters is now set to begin his career as Purdue football's 37th head coach. The team officially introduced Walters on campus yesterday. He comes over from Big Ten foe Illinois after serving as the Illini's defensive coordinator. Walters says he'll be cheering on the Boilermakers when they take on LSU in January 2nd Citrus Bowl. Organizers behind a brand new downtown basketball tournament say they're working toward making it a top-tier Indianapolis event. The Indy Classic kicks off at Gainbridge Fieldhouse Saturday. It'll feature 2 marquee college basketball matchups, Ball State versus Illinois State and top-ranked Purdue versus Davidson. Indiana Sports Corp President Patrick Talty says the long-term vision for the event goes beyond just a day of basketball.
We really thought, like, okay, what can we do other than just that basketball game? You know, whether it's youth clinics or, you know, sponsor functions and other activities for people to enjoy to really make a weekend of it.
The organization says its main focus is on the fan experience in and outside the arena. Talty says events surrounding the Indy Classic will likely start next year. The first game this weekend on Saturday tips off at 3:30. And finally, to the Pacers, it is a season sweep against the defending NBA champs. Pacers hosted the Golden State Warriors just more than a week after beating them out west on their home court with the same result. In fact, even worse this time for the Warriors, as superstar Steph Curry left the game with a shoulder injury in the third quarter. It looked like a Pacers blowout early, then the Warriors rallied late. Andrew Nembhard put away the win with a late slashing drive. Final score 125-19. Pacers return to the road tomorrow to play the Cavaliers. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.